I got bars and ink, but never in a prison. Too far gone, never gonna sit and listen. This is optimism mixed with the best. You get it? What you're seeing is a beast in the flesh. I'm vetted up. I don't need to try speak for.
What's good, people? Jeff S, aka True Knowledge, hatless for the first time in 14 months, I think. Just as I wanted to stand out tonight amongst my panel of two fine gentlemen and fine creators themselves, Cyberneticshark, longtime veteran YouTuber and content creator, specializing in film, in cinematography, and all the good shit having to do with movies and TV. What up, Cyber?
Hola.
Andres, the pop culture guy, here to review with us. Fast X, the Fast and the Furious, 10 freaking movies. Andres, what's up with that, man?
Well, first off, you never turn your back on family. So, first off, there's 11 movies, including House of Shaw. So, this is the 11th movie. But in the main timeline, this is the 10th movie of the Fast Saga. So, yes.
Folks, that's why I put in the description that I had a short but really dope and like solid panel to back me up tonight and whatnot, because I didn't know that there was actually another film that wasn't a part of the 10. I did not know that. So thank you, Andres, for putting that in there.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the MCU'S YouTube channel and podcast. We're live, of course, or you wouldn't be seeing us, at all right now. But we will, of course, be in video form as well. And we're here to do Fast X and to review it and whatnot and everything. We're on some new shit here, doing regular movie reviews and whatnot and everything. So we're getting after it. What's up? Let's do it. Cyberneticshark, my friend. Tell me, give me kind of a a basic premise of kind of the where things went from 1 through 9. I guess if you could, sir, if you don't mind, just kind of set up 10. Just to, however, take as much time as you need and just kind of lay it out.
I mean, it's pretty basic. You start off there, street racing, cargo jacking people that basically move their way to becoming anti-heroes that help certain agencies to stop certain bad guys. And basically 1 through 9 is kind of that journey, them growing a family and them ending up basically at the point they are by Fast 10.
You can't be more concise than that, folks. I mean, that's load that shit. All right, Andres. If that was Andres, that would have taken 17 minutes, possibly. Andres, right?
No,
we like to play. We like to fool around here.
No.
Come on, we love you, Andres. You're
See,
great, man. Come on.
Yeah, no.
25 minutes, Cyber? 25 minutes?
No.
Oh, shit.
I can definitely put it at 7.
35 to be exact.
35.75? Oh my God.
No way. Excuse me. I had to do a 3-hour podcast to rank all the 10 movies of Fast and Furious. So I can easily rep the whole thing here. All right.
That's not bad. I would think 3 hours for the all 10. That's not bad.
11 if you count the spinoff.
Hey, I'm just glad that there's somebody out there that's more long-winded than my ass, brother. That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know. But
I'll be ranking them probably eventually, but it won't take me 3 hours to rank them.
What are you gonna do, Cyber? You're gonna do one of those what is it, the 20-second or the 1 minute reviews or whatever?
Well, I already did one of those, but no. A ranking video can be anywhere from half an hour to 20 minutes. Most of them I've done have been around 17 minutes. So I plan on doing the ranking of the 11 films, because I will include Hobbs and Shaw because it is a part of the Fast and Furious. Most definitely, I think I can get that in 17 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Andres, the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I guess for what? Just my overall opinion of this movie or just the ranking?
No, I'm just fucking with you, bro. I'm fucking with you, man. That's all. I'm just doing what I do, baby. True knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Talking shit, as always. Anyways, though, folks, listen. Good action movie. Right? I guess my first question to you guys, Andres, would be, I don't know, these days where we're at right now, where we're the MCU's bleeding edge and everything is so superhero dominated. I guess maybe I'm not probably all that hip to really like what type of level or quality we're getting from action films these days in general. I wouldn't know. Maybe it's Cyber would know. You would know better than I would, Andres. I thought this was a good movie. I enjoyed it. What would you say with this? I'll mention throughout the show here and there some of the things I did have a problem with here and there if I get a chance. But Andres, would you say that overall, possibly that maybe Fast and the Furious is putting out the best action films that we're getting right now, other than the superhero genre?
Yes. Like, so here's the two categories. Great action films with great characters, story, which that is lining up with Mission Impossible and John Wick. Fast and the Furious is the dumb, great action. So, like, this is the overall summer blockbusters. You can turn your mind off of anything because of how ridiculous their action is. But ever since Fast 5, they're able to mix practical and CGI together, and their effort of trying to be very like creative with the action is very noble, and that's how they've been successful the last 22 years, since 2001. I called this franchise the dumb Mission Impossible because I never expected. I mean, no one, me, Cyber, anyone here didn't expect this franchise to be, successful. After 3 or 4, I think Fast 5 and onwards, it became one of the most great summer blockbusters. So I think Fast 10 delivered that this year. I actually like this more than the last film, F9. So, and I have my problems with this movie as well. We'll get into, but overall, this was a great summer blockbuster with great action, and the characters, if you know them since the first film, they're great too. You have some problems with the way they use the characters in this movie, but we'll get into that. But overall, it's a great.
We'll flush that out. I definitely have my qualms with how they handled so many characters in the one film. It's a lot. Cyber, I'm sure you probably have your thoughts on that too, and we'll talk about that. But Cyber, same question to you. You heard what I asked Andres. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that you see more movies than I do, so I'm just asking you a question. I don't know for a fact this is the best action genre type films we're getting right now. Is Fast and Furious films? I'm wondering if anything.
The Fast franchise has been really good. It's been a action-packed film series that, yes, I would consider it a summer blockbuster, most definitely. Mostly released during May. Pretty much every release has been around May, except for the first one. The first one came out in June. And, but for the most part, yes, it's a blockbuster. It's definitely one of those action series that, yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to it because it is an action-packed film. They have that over-the-top action and all that kind of stuff that people enjoy, that find entertaining. So most definitely, I think that, it is at Marvel-esque type of like feeling right now, especially because with how horrible people have viewed Marvel over the last year now. A lot of people are, we're looking for more action-based or oriented type of films, and the Fast, franchise provides that. Hence, when the last entry with Hobbs and Shaw, it did very well with it. And, Fast 9 did a really good job too as well. It went crazy over the top as usual, and this one did the same thing, not to the extent I feel as F9 did, but definitely along that lines. But yeah, I would definitely agree. This is a definitely something that people were looking for.
Well said. And I think that Cyberneticshark makes a really good point there in the fact that even being big lovers of the MCU as we are, and big lovers of pretty much everything like that's nerd kind of geek fandom related. I think all of us for the most part are to some extent. We enjoy a lot of that stuff. Maybe some of us more than others. In general, it's nice to see some change. I just see an infusion of some different films that are like we said, Cyber. We talked about already that Dune. It'll be nice to see Dune come out, right? And inject something different. I'm hoping it'll be a better film than the first one. I really am. I think it will be. I I have a feeling that Denny Villeneuve was going to really kill it with that one. But and it'll be fun to review that, right? That'll be fun. You know, honestly, we never did a Doom review here. I don't think we did. No, we didn't, unfortunately. But either way, I don't want to go far astray. So the intro of the film is very simple, very basic premise. I thought it was pretty well done. They did a really good job with the Paul Walker flashback deal, whatnot, everything. I like that. I thought it was really good to see. You know, I liked it personally. I remember because I remember seeing the first one in the theater in North Carolina when I was like 19, right? And I thought it was great. I loved it, and I'm pulling up the box office numbers for all the films right now across the board. This one overall ended up doing 67.5 domestically in the U.S. over the weekend, so close to 70 million. That's not bad. It's less than the last one. It's 5 million off, but still strong. And so, like I said, the intro, I thought it was pretty well set up. Damn, Michelle Rodriguez. How did she come? The only thing that kind of throws me off with her is I'm wondering, did she come back? How did she come back to life? Did she cross over to the multiverse?
No. So, like, she died in 4, and then the Fast and the Furious had a post-credit scene that said Letty came back from the dead. 6, we addressed it. So, the bad guy in the 4th movie shot her car, explode, and then she hit in the ground, and then she had amnesia. That's what happened. So that's it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if maybe she had transferred over from that. What was the other films that she was in, the video game films with the other actress there? You know what I'm talking about?
Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
She was only in Resident Evil 1.
Did they bring her back? Didn't they bring her back in like 3 or 4? Oh, that was like a digital version of her or something like that. It wasn't even really her.
It was showing her.
Okay, so my joke that like they brought her over from that wouldn't really work that because that wasn't really her. Okay, she didn't come back to life. All right,
No.
that's unfortunate. I had a good one lined up there, but that's okay. Thank you, Cyber, for confirming that for me. But no, it's good. It's a solid opening and whatnot and everything, and we basically get introduced to our villain right from jump. And you know, the character that plays his father, the actor, has been in some really great films over the years and whatnot and everything. I'm sure you guys probably know his name quicker than I would. But he was in that Harrison Ford film back in the day that was really good when he was playing the Jack Ryan character, like I think 95 or 96. Cyber, Andres?
Was it the Clear and Present Danger?
Clear and Present Danger. Yep.
Yeah.
He was. I think he played the villain in that one. I think.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. I see. It's actually really good. I like Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan.
Me too. No, he's great as Jack Ryan. But no. I mean, basically, they really premise right off the bat the whole familial vibe right off the bat. They kind of bounce it off of each other when they stagger the intro, where they kind of like have the flashback for Momoa's character in the film. His villain, and where his I guess his hatred comes from, and his desire to not just kill Dom, but like actually like essentially punish him, right? As he says multiple times in the film, which I thought was interesting. I like that. But basically, it's good opening, good intro. They have a dual flashback where they kind of have the father explaining to him what he wants done and whatnot everything before he dies. They flash back through the Fast and Furious whatnot back to when Paul Walker was still alive and whatnot, and when they're on a job. And then we get the whole scene at the house where Charlize Theron shows up, and basically she's all beat up and whatnot and everything. Looks like she's like about to die. And it's like, hey, your enemy, the same enemy is about mine or something along the lines. It's better than that or something like that. But her scene, I thought right off the bat, her action scene was just outstanding. It was so great to see a woman actually fighting men logically, like authentically, how, like, what I'm saying, in a way that's not fucking stupid. It looks outrageous, like Wakanda Forever or whatever and whatnot, where small women are just beating dudes up, knocking them out, one punch everything. Like, she was picking up devices, hitting dudes with shit, right? Getting stabbed, getting beat up and whatnot, actually taking hits, taking blows. It looked real. it looked tangible, like something that could actually occur. Like I grasp her character and her skill level and whatnot with hand-to-hand combat and all that. That was really well done, that action scene with her. I had no idea that she was that good. I saw her in the Mad Max film, and she was pretty solid in that. Cyber, sir, your take, with the whole intro, how they play that out, and whatnot, and everything. The household with Michelle Rodriguez, with obviously with her son, who's such a primal character in the film, I guess, probably. I thought well used. What's your take on that whole big intro and on that action scene that I'm talking about?
So the beginning sequence showing the flashback of Jason Momoa, aka Dante Reyes, being there the whole time. Being there the whole time that his father in Fast Five was dealing with the situation with, Dom's family. That was a good way of introducing kind of like who he was supposed to be. I thought that was a really great way. I know some people probably thought that, they're reusing footage again, just adding him in. A lot of people don't care for that, but I didn't find it too bad. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was horrible. But the whole idea behind it was a really great idea, I thought, showing, how Jason Momoa was actually been there the whole time. So we have that, and then of course, it leads into the family having dinner and stuff like that at the house. And of course, we're introduced to little B again, who has now grown to be like, I don't know, I think he's around 8 now. I think he's about 8 or 10.
Yeah.
And Dom is teaching him how to drive. And, he's doing okay, but, he's still got to learn. He's like, he wants to be just as good as his dad, but he can't be yet. And, he basically gives him words of wisdom saying, oh, you could do it. You don't worry. It takes time. You're not this good. And, little B says, of course, that you're not afraid of anything, Dad. And he's like, oh. And so that kind of leads into when they're back at the house and they're having the wonderful little dinner there. The fam, we're introduced to everyone. Some funny moments with Roman, some funny moments with Taj, of course, and Ramsey. Him playing with the remote control car and stuff like that. So funny. Rita Moreno coming in playing the great grandmother of Dom, and of course his brother Jacob, and of course Mia. That was really fun. I thought it was cool that they brought in kind of another Toretto character to kind of actually fill out more of their actual family, which I thought was fun. And I thought that was done well. I liked it. And basically that sequence where Michelle Rodriguez, aka Lety, and Dom are in the bed, and he says that he admits that he is afraid of losing his family. I thought that was a great one, line, kind of going back to that scene with his son. I like that. I thought that was really well done. And but then, Cypher showing up. I thought that was kind of cool, kind of making her kind of become, I feel like she's more like an anti-hero in this film, kind of joining them a little bit, even though, she's still a bad guy, but still at the same time, she sees that, with this opportunity, what's happening to her being, basically, being thrown into the mix with Don because of Dante. She sees this opportunity as, okay, I can kind of team up with them and in this, help myself. So I think that was really cool. And her coming to the house and stuff like that and tell them about him coming, without them just like beating the crap out of her, I was like really shocked. And that flashback showing her what happened to her, leading up to her getting there, and that action sequence. Yes, it was a really well done action sequence. I liked it. I thought it was really well done. Charlize Theron has done a lot of action films. I mean, she started off in Aeon of Flux. She did, of course, Mad Max Fury Road, which I wasn't a huge fan of that film. I don't really care for it. But Atomic Blonde is a really fantastic film. I thought she was really fantastic in that. She kicked butt in that. I thought that was one of her best roles to date. I feel she was really solid in that. Besides her role in Monster, which she did a really good job in that too. But she really action-packed in Atomic Blonde. I thought she really showed her action skills in that film, and she did a good job. And so that action sequence was really well done. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cleverly done, too. And this really kind of helps you to kind of get you a starting kind of insight into who Dante is and like kind of what his game is a little bit there at the beginning, making all her people kind of betray her, and you can see that in the scene. But yeah, really great beginning intro to the film. I thought a really solid entry, and a really great way to start this film.
Most definitely. And Andres, and you're right, Cyber. I'm glad that you mentioned that. The scene where Dante walks in, Momoa walks in, and he does actually, how he plays that out. I thought that was probably one of his strongest scenes in the whole film, where he really, really came off the best as his character in terms of how he played it and whatnot and everything. At times I felt like he was a little choppy with the whole crazy deal, whatnot. I've seen it better, that trope. Back in the day, I've seen it much better than that. I mean, I'm sure you guys have too. But he did a solid job. That was a great opening scene for him, I thought, in real time. Not flashback style, but actually, to have him come in like that, and then bring some real steel to the shit, and be like, turn her whole team against her by kidnapping their families. That's some dirty shit. Andres, same question I asked Cyber. Anything you want to bounce off of what Cyber had to say? Anything you picked out of out of that whole intro and whatnot and everything, and your thoughts in general?
Yeah. I think this first part is okay. It's just getting the ball rolling for the major plot points we're gonna get into the film. So it was great to see. I actually agree with Cyber, seeing more like the Toretto family expanded upon, because we were getting that in F9, because we got the backstory of how Toretto's father died. Because we've got that mentioned in the first film. So it was good that we got another member here. It's so good. Of course, seeing Jason Momoa's character Dante in the Fast Five heist sequence in his perspective was really good, and so they did a really good job of blending that footage with Jason Momoa. So I think that was really good. I Just not to jump too far, but I love Jason Momoa. I mean, when we get to Venice, that was where I loved the movie. But anyway, yeah, I think the sequence here is good. The barbecue, the classic Fast and the Furious family barbecue. I love that we get that early. Was really great. Of course, the gag of Han, was it starting the speed date, and he's getting all these like rapid replies from the ladies was funny. Han is great. He's a great character. I love him since Tokyo Drift. So he's the ladies' man. So that's cool. But yeah, this is so good. I like the son. I actually like Little B here. I was very surprised. I actually liked the kid. And I think he's actually a good child kid. That we've seen a couple of times in films. I like when we get to him and John Cena. Those are my favorite parts of the movie. But in these few sequences, I think the kid was really good. He actually hold his own with Toretto. With Bean and then Michelle and the group. So that was great. Yeah, I agree with Cyber that seeing Dom, admit his fear of losing the family, and including Michelle Rodriguez, yet again, because he almost lost her prior to this movie. So I like that we saw some vulnerability. And Cipher, so that part I'm a little mixed with Cyber joining the team, because I feel like the movie franchise doesn't know what to do with Cyber as a character. I liked her when she was the main villain, and I like that we still acknowledge that she is the main villain. I mean, she killed, Vince's kid's mother in the 8th film, so I appreciate that. But oh really? Oh my God, buzzword. Anyway, Form is the worst in cinematic history. Oh man. Anyway, so I thought that the kid was good. I thought the telling of Cyber of what happened was pretty good. Seeing Dante introduction was really good to set up who he is as a character, but also seeing kind of the over the top performance of Jason Momoa was really good. You know, but I you didn't get that until when we get to Venice, when we really see Jason Momoa really being evil and just amazing as a villain. But this was a good introduction to him as the villain. You know, that he's like one step ahead.
No, most definitely. And again, I mean, I thought he did a really solid job playing the villain of the film and whatnot and everything. He was interesting. You know, and in general, again, Charlize Theron, as Cyber pointed out, whatnot, as Andres has pointed out as well, she has done some really good action films, and I apologize, I didn't mention any of that and whatnot and everything. I have seen her do some really good action films before and whatnot. It's really good hand to hand before too, and she's always has been really solid with that.
Yeah.
No, she's very ambidextrous. She can pretty much play anything for the most part, I think. I remember Cider House Rules back in the day when I was a kid. That was a good film with her too. But so basic, most definitely. No, but good points, gentlemen. Good points. And I am gonna play here in a little bit one of the trailers from the actual movie and whatnot and everything, which I haven't seen any of them. Well, I saw the first one. Good trailers. But I felt like you know, as we went past that part where where basically, I guess Dom is alerted as to what the actual current real situation is in terms of the danger to his family, right, which becomes really he makes it clear throughout the film that that's like really pertinent to him and whatnot. And I love the family element and everything, and the focus on the family. I think it's done the right way in the film. Would you gentlemen agree? Cyber, would you say I like I agree with Andres. I think that the child actor that plays his Dom's son did a really good job, and his addition to the film didn't take anything away from it at all.
Yeah, he was good. I don't think he's anything great. I don't think he took anything away, most definitely, but it was good.
No, and obviously, Andres, you already said that you strongly really enjoyed his scenes with Cena in the film, and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And we see him right off the bat, like right after that, right, literally almost right after that point where we ended up off that, with Charlize, where dying off at the couch and whatnot, almost, as Cipher, of course. We get Cena coming in right right off the bat, and I really enjoyed how they added the criminal element with the child, where Michelle Rodriguez's character, I apologize, I forget her name in the film. Is it
Lety?
It's Lety, yes, Lety Ortiz. So Lety actually having like code word and having instructed their son that we have an unwanted guest in our house. You know what that means, right? Or or whatever she said. That was really good. I like it's very adult, very there was a real authentic feel to the film, and it was well done. No, we were off the bat. We did get we get Cena and come in there and whatnot and everything. I thought his scenes were great too. They were very sort of brief and tight, but his action scenes were really good. He comes in, and he does have a really good, I guess you could almost say, relationship sort of with Little B throughout the film, whatnot and everything. It's an interesting dynamic whether they used him in it. I'm not sure. I can't remember how many of these films he's been in now, Cena. What 3, 4?
This is number 2. That's it.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and of course, right off the bat, right at that point, we have the mission that they basically already had planned, I believe, right there at that point, didn't we? Where they have the mission in Rome, and now, right, and at that point, obviously, Dante has gone in, and his whole entrance into Cypher's, I guess you could say, den or hideout and everything, and why he comes in there the way he does, is essentially to steal her intel and like her device and whatnot, to be able to essentially, I guess, have the ability to find people or whatever, hack into shit and whatever it does and whatnot, high tech stuff or whatever. Says, nerds, come with me, right? And then of course we see them later in the film, and we'll talk about that. And I thought that was pretty interesting. But at that point, we get the first confrontation on the job where we do get the cars and we do get the, the guns and we do get the, the Fast and the Furious type of stuff that we usually expect. John Brewster is still in the damn films. She looks really good too. I mean, she looks like she hasn't even aged since like the first movie, almost barely. But so the whole team's not completely filled out at that point, but we've got a lot of them, right? For the most part, they do the heist, right? And then basically, at that point, that's when Dante kind of like inserts himself into the the equation and puts them in the anti-hero role, as Cyber pointed out, right? Where they have to basically, the heist gets turned into having to save the Vatican, right? A la a bomb, that's sort of like a big, I guess you could almost say bowling ball, but like, huge. And great action scene, great, great. They always do a good job with this, with the, I believe the car scenes and anything that's car chase related or car action. They seem to pretty much kill it with that. So Andres, the heist, how it ends up unfolding, how we get the insertion of John Cena's character into the film, where he actually kind of links up and starts his dynamic with with Little B, or with obviously Dominic's son. And then of course the agency also sort of popping up right in that point too, I believe. And Captain Bree and everything and whatnot, getting her like a little, first pop up in the film. And of course, I believe the gentleman from Titans is in there as well. Yeah, he was really good. I enjoyed him. Your take, just I guess get up to the heist and whatnot, and everything, and the everything that proceeds through that, and then the heist itself, and then the whole need of them actually saving or Dom ending up saving basically the Vatican or Rome because of this bomb. Your take on that whole thing, your thoughts on all that segment of the film, the action how itself, how that played out.
Yeah. So this is where I really started to like the film. So obviously, before Dom and Letty goes to Rome, they talk to a little nobody. That's Scott Eastwood's character from the 8th film, and they discover that the Rome thing is a trap, basically, from Dante. So we get it quickly, and so that adds a lot of stake to the heist sequence. So it's great, and I think this is where I really enjoyed the film, and especially from the group, we get Roman and Tess back and forth of comedy moments, particularly the little cart that has the Tesh head. That was funny. So this is probably the best, not like the best of the action sequences, but this was a very great Fast and the Furious action scenes that they built. And that's my favorite of this film, because later on we get a little too CGI in some of the big action sequences, particularly like towards the end. But I think this was the best because it blends the CGI and live action well. So this was really fun. We got really cool moments with Dom and Letty, in the bike riding and trying to stop this bomb rolling over the whole Vatican City thing. And this is where I actually really started to like Jason Momoa, because this is where Jason Momoa really became the best villain. I don't know if you guys heard this in the internet, but everyone, including me, thinks he's the best villain of Fast and the Furious film franchise, in my opinion. I know some could maybe disagree, but this sequence made me really start to like Jason Momoa as a villain. Not number one. I think I still like Jason Statham as the main villain, but he's up there as the best villain because of how funny and just how crazy and threatening he is as the villain for this film. Him starting the scene, like while he's riding the bike, and then him talking to the two nerds, hackers, like he will be right back, and I'm still holding your family hostage. That was like, it's just so crazy what Jason Momoa was doing in this sequence. And of course, the ridiculous and the most Fast and Furious thing they did was have Dom use the crane to push off the bomb to the water. Like that was like incredible, and that was crazy. And and this is where they set up all the plot points. Okay, the family are separated, like, because just remember, this is the Infinity War of of Fast and Furious, so everyone's gonna be spread out just like the Avengers was. So, which is a big nitpick, but we'll get to that. But anyway, so now this was a complete setup because now the NDC that the Jack Reacher Titans actor, he wants to go after the the team, the family, because they are collateral damage. They're radical people that are just causing more trouble than saving people. That's his aim. Where Brie Larson's character is Tess. She is the daughter of Mr. Nobody, that is played by Kurt Russell. So she's very important, and we see she's helping out Dom, and to do certain things, and so she's a great addition. I like her. I think this is a better role for her here than say the MCU. It's just she's a little more, I just personally, for me, I think this is a better role for her. But anyway, the sequence sets up everything from the plot points throughout the movie. But I have to say, I understand what they're trying to do here, but this is where I separating the characters is not a good idea in the Fast and Furious. I like when they're together, and I gotta say that when we get after this, it gets kind of okay. I just, I don't know. I don't like when they separate the team, and when we get to the other scenes and all that, I didn't like what they did with the Chesh and Roman and that whole thing. But anyway, this was a great sequence. I think they really made me hook on the film during this whole sequence, which is good.
Cyber, sir, your opinions and thoughts?
All right, so we're talking about when they go to Rome,
Yes, sir.
basically leading up to the bomb rolling around, correct?
Through the end of the action scene, and then it's sort of like the aftermath of that, and as things project off that scene.
All right. So yeah, this is I enjoyed this sequence. I really enjoyed that sequence in Rome. I thought it was really great action, real fun. I love the whole bomb rolling around and stuff. I thought that was absolutely hilarious and like awesome at the same time, because I just like what better way to make a great action sequence than to have a rolling bomb, like a cannonball, going around. So I thought that was just a really funny and really cool just action sequence, especially everything that Dom had to do during the sequence, hitting it with the car and all this kind of stuff. Really, really great action. I enjoyed that. I mean, I love the great banter between Han, Roman, and Taj and Ramsey. That was all great. I love that. Like they centered piece on them. I really enjoyed that. I know it didn't combine well with the rest of the film because it kind of made them feel separated from the rest of the group, but still at the same time, I enjoyed all that camaraderie. That's when the great gags and the great funniness came in, and I just thought was really enjoyable. And Roman thinking that he's in charge this whole time was absolutely hilarious too. I absolutely loved that. Him like, this is my first command type of deal. That was absolutely hilarious. But leading up to that, Scott Eastwood coming back in and, basically, saying to Don that there is no thing in Rome going on right now. There's no job going on. And they're like, oh, crap. And him being in it. And I was a little disappointed that they only had him in that one sequence. And basically he jumps out and rolls and we don't know what happened to him. I didn't care for that. That was one of the few things I didn't care too much for. But I like Scott Eastwood. I think he's a great actor. I think he follows in his dad's footsteps very well. And I was looking forward to more action from him, and we didn't get that, which I was really surprised. And but that whole sequence is just so fun. I absolutely loved it. And basically, the rest of the group basically ended up going underground while Dom's dealing with the bomb on the outside. Letty getting captured, which sucked. But at the same time, you knew that was what was going to happen in order for her to have her like Cipher fight. So I really thought that was kind of interesting that was so quick into the movie that she gets caught. So, I think some of the best portions of that sequence is just like some of the things that Dom ends up having to do. The wheels on his car basically look like they've been punctured, they've been blown up, and all this kind of stuff. As soon as the bomb rolls and stops finally right at the edge of that portion of the stairs in Rome, you're like, oh crap! And thankfully, it's not going to roll. And then Dante comes in and causes it to start rolling again. You're like, oh crap. And, basically having to chase it all the way to the water in order for it to explode in the water, to kind of like lessen the damage, because we still know it's going to cause damage no matter what. We just know this. It was really well done. And really well done. And I thought that the CGI work in that was done really well. I thought it looked really graphically well. I didn't think it looked too like obvious. And I thought the stunt work all was done really well in that sequence as well. And I mean, it was nice getting to see kind of like parts of the Rome there where the Vatican is and stuff like that. That was really cool. And I liked how, unfortunately, Cipher, or not Cipher, but they have to basically, they get into that one truck and they're trying to do the heist, and there's all the bombs underneath it and it's blowing it up, and using the tight wire to stop the truck from going anywhere. And they go, Taj and Ramsey go flying over, which was really cool. I thought that was a really good action portion of that sequence too. But to talk a little bit about Momoa, my first thoughts that came to mind as soon as I saw him in the sequence and some of his gestures was Ken Jeong in Hangover going, "Hey, fat boy." Basically instead of fat boy, him going, "Gay boy." I'm sorry, but Momoa, I'm like, what the hell is going on with Momoa here? Why is he acting so flamboyant? And why does his clothes look so flowy too?
Why was his shirt open from Jump? Why was his shirt wide open from fucking Jump in the first scene?
And I'm like, what the hell kind of villain is this? I'm like, this is not a villain. I'm sorry. This is more of a gag going on. And even my wife at this, when we were watching it, she's like, she goes over to me and goes, "Is he a gay boy?"
Oh my god, fucking!
It was hilarious. The funniest freaking thing ever.
A gay boy? She actually said that. A gay boy?
Yes. Wow. And I'm like, I think so. And I'm just like, what the hell is up with this villain? Because all the villains throughout the entire series have been fantastic. Absolutely have loved them. Absolutely have. And I think Cipher, I think Cipher probably is one of the better villains I think that they've had. Her basically crossing over from 5 or 6, I should say. She was a part of the reason why Owen went into doing what he did in 6. So, like, she's been there since Fast 6. So I think she's a really great villain. I mean, but every other villain, even his dad, Dante Reyes' dad in Fast 5, he was a macho guy, bad guy. He was a bad guy. And I think because they're trying to play off this whole, like, he's psychopathic since, youth or whatever and stuff like that, I think that's supposed to play into it a little bit. But at the same time, like, most psychopaths that I've read about or seen in documentaries weren't flamboyantly gay. Or acted flamboyantly gay, I should say. So yeah, I have lots of issues with Momoa's performance in this film, because I think he's a fantastic actor. I've liked him in everything else. From Bolt in the Head to his Conan portrayal to Aquaman. I mean, I have always enjoyed him. Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, what is going on here? So yeah, I think that anybody that thinks that this is his best villain performance of the series, I'm sorry, but I just don't agree.
Yeah. Hot D.
You think that if that's what you think, then that's what you get. That's what we got for you right there at the bleeding edge. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Cyber. Thank you for taking the heat off of me, so I didn't have to actually say what you just said, because I was going to have to say it at some point. Whatnot. I was trying to sidestep it at first and see if one of you fuckers would step in for me and take one for the team. So thank you, Cyber. I appreciate you. No, I don't have to be the bad guy tonight and everything, but yes, Jason Momoa's fucking goddamn whatever stupid Dante Reyes was freaking terrible. Pretty much throughout the entire film, he was only good in maybe like 2 scenes, and that he was like, and even then he was just okay. But like right from jump, when I saw him with his shirt open and shit, whatnot, in the first scene, I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like, you're effective. Now you just had to throw that in there? Like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but folks.
I understand. I understand why. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Andres.
Yeah, I understand why. The reason I like it, because it goes to my problem with this film, is the overall seriousness that this series had taken too far. And especially the last movie. I like John Cena a lot as an actor, but I personally didn't like him as the villain from the last movie. And with the other guy, I don't know what his name, Otto, the other British villain from the last movie. Like, I felt like this was a step better, like a step up from the last movie as a villain, thing. But I don't know, because ever since Paul Walker passed away, we just have been just being alone and not with the crew. It makes the movie a little too hard for to watch it, and so having Jason Momoa just doing these crazy things, and
I think Momoa could be a villain. He could play a villain. Cyber Andres, I think he could, just not this way, right? Like the whole crazy deal, whatnot, and everything, right? A little bit. It's okay sometimes in the film, but Cyber, Andres, I'm sure you would agree with me. We've all seen villains that are crazy like that in other films, and there's been other actors that have really killed it doing it, right? He didn't kill it.
I'm not saying he's like the greatest. I'm saying just in this franchise. That's it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying
no. No. And you guys would know more than I would, because honestly, you've seen more of the films than I have, right? But in general, again, we love gay guys out there and gay people out there and lesbians and whatnot. You're all wonderful people. We love you. Enjoy the bleeding edge and support us. We support you. If anything, I feel like Momoa actually like made gay dudes look bad in the film. You know what I'm saying? Possibly. I don't know. Just rip off of Cyber's Cyber wife and the gay boy thing, right?
The gay boy.
The gay boy. Good call, Cyber's wife. Appreciate you on that one. So no, now that we've established that Cyber's established the flamboyancy of Moa's character in the film. So it's so well done too. We did get enough Scott Eastwood as a little old buddy without question. And Andres would have to 100% agree with you. Brie Larson was a lot better in this than everything I ever saw in the MCU with her. I thought effective. I like Song Kang as Han Lu or whatever. He's good, right? And good call, Cyber, on Tyrese and everything and whatnot, and Ludacris's humor and their dynamic and what they add to the film, whatnot, and everything. I think that was actually one of the good parts of the film too. And as we kind of like drift forward into the film, and they start to add more characters, one of the things that I started to kind of question a little bit, and I'll ask you guys about as we get into the film more, was just it seemed interesting to me that the characters that are supposed to be villains in the past or whatever, and all of a sudden, and like you'd think they wouldn't get along with the team, seemed to have no problem with it kind of in the film and whatnot. And if you're going to have that going on and have Cipher come in there like that and whatnot and be like, I met the devil today, right? And I thought it was me. Well, you better have a better villain than when you drop that shit, as far as I'm concerned. Either way, we move forward from there. As we kind of move forward, we get a lot of, your typical, I guess you could say, almost Fast and Furious tropes, if you could say, or what you expect, I guess, from these films overall. In terms of the street, we get the street racing, as we move forward or whatnot, right? The agency, of course, is a different aspect. It doesn't start, they didn't start that in the first 3 or 4 films. I believe that didn't come into play until what, the 5th or 6th film or something like that, Andres?
7. With
7?
Russell. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, with Kurt Russell. So I mentioned in the private chat that as we as we kind of head into our, you okay, bud? As we kind of head into the next portion of the film, coming off of sort of the breakup of the team and Dom's son, ending up with John Cena's character, for quite a bit of the film, starting, kind of in from the beginning, things kind of split up and whatnot and everything, the different direction. And we end up getting what I thought was a great addition to the film in the Daniela Melchior as Isabelle Neves, the Brazilian street racer who was revealed to be the sister of Dom's former girlfriend and Little B's mother, Elena Neves.
See, yeah.
She was great. I really enjoyed her. I love how they introduced her into the film and whatnot and everything. She's very authentic. She's a good actress. Some of the scenes later on in the film that are emotional with her and Dom, I thought were really well done. But overall, as Andres pointed out and as Cybert pointed out, Vin Diesel did a great job as Dom in that action scene. He really pulled it off, I thought. He's really effective. He delivered, I thought, in the movie pretty well. As we move forward, we do have Lety. Kind of, she's been grabbed, I guess, by the agency at that point with, Cipher, right? And we do get that awesome fight later on that our thumbnail's based off of, which I really enjoyed. But that's farther on, of course. We kind of get, like, I'd say probably maybe not sidelined, but we get kind of like a almost not a lull, but kind of like a your typical kind of deal in the film right there, where we sort of segue. As the team breaks up, they're kind of sort of like trying to put together how they're going to defend themselves, protect the family, take out, essentially the villain and whatnot and everything, save the world, whatever. And as we move forward, we end up with, again, the agency becoming more, involved into the film. We end up getting Brie Larson's Tess, the daughter of Mr. Nobody, sort of, I guess, I don't know if this is a new trope that she sort of rebels against the agency, right? She wants to defend Dom, the family, his son. I like that part. I thought that was a good deal. We don't at that point know that, of course, that I believe he's the head of the agency, the guy from the Titans. Yeah, is it? I forget. I'm not sure what. I can't figure out what the actor's name is around here. I'm trying to figure it out. Either way, we don't know what that Ames. Okay,
yeah, that's
okay. So
character's name. Yeah,
Alan Richardson. All right, the new leader of Mr. Nobody's agency. So he's working with Dante, and we don't know that yet. Of course, at that point, we don't know. We find that out later at the end of the film that they kind of spill that out. I didn't think it was that big of a twist, really. But in the meantime, Helen Mirren's character pops up as Magdalene, Queenie Elmson Shaw, and kind of gives advice to Dom, right? And we get more Cena, more with Little B, them sort of, more of their interaction. We get, of course, some, again, cars and some actual racing and some actual street racing. And we get the first actual, I guess, like in-person meeting between Dom and Momoa's, actual, villain as Dante. And we get, essentially another really big action scene where we get a street race and the villain inserts himself into it, right? And I thought it was pretty well done. Again, the cars look good and everything and whatnot. There were emotional ties and things and of the nature that I didn't really mention as far as the cross that Dom wears. We do get some stuff in the in the beginning of the film where he does look back at Paul Walker's character and whatnot. I thought that was all really well done and touching. You guys can address that yourselves. I like Paul Walker a lot. And, God bless him and his family. God bless his soul. But either way, like I said, we end up into sort of a part of the film where things are sort of in disarray a little bit. And, kind of everybody's kind of scattered and all over the place. They teamed up in different teams, sort of in a way, almost a la Infinity War. And we get into this action scene where we do get the villain introduced to Dom. There's a street race type deal. And, essentially it ends up being Dom again, having to be like the head, the main part of the action scene and of the sequence, I believe, if I'm correct, that sort of has to be the one to lead and kind of like be the hero, to sort of like, to persevere, right? Like, keep the family safe and whatnot. So everybody walks away, unscathed and all that and whatnot. And before we get to, I guess, to probably maybe around the area of the film where, you know, we've already gotten the street race part where we do get the Danielle Melchior character coming into the film and we understand who she is, the street race itself, but not before, I guess you could say, maybe that comedic scene when they go to the black market gun dealer, car dealer scene and whatnot, everything, where we get the little fight between Ludacris and you know, and Tyrese's characters. That was funny. Up until that point, Cyber, what were your thoughts on sort of how they delivered and introduced the different characters sort of as they brought them in? Did you feel like it was well done? Did they handle it, spaced it out well? It worked logically, like it made sense for them to come in the way they did. That it added, you know, to the film to have the kind of expand the roster as they went. And was it or too much? Was it, do you feel like it was too much? Because I kind of thought it was. And then sort of, I guess this whole action scene. We get a lot of really big action scenes. But what did you think of the street racing part of it, of that angle, how the cars looked, the CGI, I guess, probably you mentioned earlier. And then just in general, the Danielle Melchior character, your thoughts?
Were you talking to me?
I was, sir.
Okay. What was the question again?
The part of the film I would say would almost become like maybe the middle of it, I guess, coming not the middle, but sort of like that kind of where they're all kind of split up after the heist and the massive bomb, bowling ball deal. Everything breaks up. We get the Helen Mirror character come in and kind of, give advice to Dom. We get the insertion of the Danielle Melchior character as Isabelle Neves, right? What'd you think of her impact in the film? How she portrayed her character? How the addition as we went into this part of the film where we go into that street race scene / action scene where we get the introduction of Momoa's, villain against Dom, sort of one-on-one, a la. How that played out for you? Would you think of the cars, the CGI, the street racing itself, that aspect that is such a core part of the Fast and the Furious? And then I guess also the insertion of the different characters as they started to drop them in that part of the film and sort of like that middle-ish part. Before we got to that, we get that funny scene at the black market guns dealer shop with the muffins and everything and whatnot, kind of in between there. Before we get the big fight with Charlize and whatnot, and with Letty.
Okay.
What'd you think of the scene? What'd you think of how they dropped the characters in? Did it work for you? Was it too much? Right? Was it spaced out well? How'd they handle it?
So basically this section of the film, it's kind of, I would say, it's a little bit of kind of giving a little bit more information into the storyline for you. It's giving you a little bit more of that kind of filler talk a little bit. Not really bad filler, but it's actually like kind of a nice, send back once again to another Fast and Furious film. Especially because, we first saw Dom, of course, back in the Dominican Republic
Yes.
in Fate of the Furious. And, we kind of had an idea of like, he likes this place as one of his favorite places. We got Brazil, all this kind of stuff, all those areas. They're very much a Dom Toretto type of place. And so we get kind of this interesting little take there. We get kind of a little bit more introduced to, Brie Larson a little bit more because she ends up, finding Toretto at that bar and they have that little conversation. We have also kind of like a little bit more of an insight into kind of where they took Letty, where Cipher is already, and her, and that like those machines there that are causing all these like that can heal all these different types of wounds and stuff like that, which was really cool. That was really a fun looking place. And then, of course, we have, like you said, the other group kind of going off and showing them getting out of the sewers and getting back in, and them trying to figure out, what we got to do. Them finding out that all their money has been dispersed to other places that we end up finding out a little bit later on. And, basically they have this kind of plan to get to, basically to find gear because they need gear to be able to see what they need to do to help out and to get out of this place. and you kind of have them. They're all, like I said earlier. It's nice to have all those moments, but it definitely feels like it's all very separated from the film. Like they're doing 3 different stories at the same time. Like it's sometimes people might find that a little too much, and it's too much information to process. So I could see why that would bother some people. Myself, it didn't really bother me. I like I said, I enjoy that camaraderie they give when they give us Ramsey, Taj, and Roman and Han together. I like that, and I think that's fun, and that was probably some of my favorite parts of the film.
Well, Cyber, if you don't mind me asking, Cyber, don't you think that's probably the best way to do it, right? If you're gonna have that many characters in the film?
Not necessarily.
Okay. No, I didn't mean. Please, so go ahead.
Some less is more sometimes in these types of films. I mean, there's a lot of characters that have been a part of the Fast franchise, and so in order to get it, they have to basically kind of do that for these films because there's so many characters they have to basically kind of finish off their storylines. So that's just going to be kind of a part of these next 3 films. You just got to kind of get used to it, unfortunately. And that's just how it's going to probably be. I mean, definitely, I'm sure there are better people that have written the films of the past. I mean, I'm really pissed that Chris Morgan has stopped writing the films since the Fate of the Furious, because the last one he did was actually Furious 7. The Fate of the Furious and Fast 9 were both written by different people, and so, I feel Chris Morgan always had a really good grip on how to play out the story and stuff like that. So you could see in this film just how that story arc really wasn't as cohesive as the previous installments, I felt. And so, them going back once again to kind of, take another film, kind of extend the story out is a great idea. But you gotta master it very well. You gotta do it very cohesively, and I feel that's kind of those botched kind of other stories together is kind of like not working that in very well, which I feel they could have done better. But this whole sequence there, leading up to the race and being introduced to Danielle Machinor as Alina's sister. I don't think it had a huge impact on the thing. I think it was fun that they kind of brought somebody else in to kind of pay homage to Elsa Patty's character to kind of, bring that full circle for Dom a little bit and give in that story a little bit more. Most definitely. And I think Danielle is a pretty decent actress. I liked her as Ratcatcher too in the Suicide Squad. And I thought she did a decent job in this. I don't think it was a horrible job. I don't think it's the greatest, but I definitely think she was a good addition to the film. And I think that she's, pretty basic as the character. It's kind of like, kind of that sequence where she goes in and talks about how she should be the dead one and not her sister because she was the good one and stuff like that. That feels like a very common trope between sisters. So I think that was kind of nice that they did that because that kind of showed a reality to what sisters would, be like. And I thought that they did that very well. But yeah, that car sequence, I think, was the only part of this film that really made it feel like a Fast and Furious film because that was a great chase sequence, a great racing car sequence that showed racing car types of things. And, unfortunately, they brought that one guy back that was in Fast 5 as well and killed him off, which I was really pissed by. I was like, this is stupid. You bring him back just to kill him? I'm like, this is dumb. I'm sorry. And I've said this in previous films. I hate when they bring back a character just to kill them. I think it's the stupidest thing because that is a moneymaker for you. Hello. This character everyone loves. They want to see this character more. Let's see this character more. I mean, yes, I know that character was a little character in the film before, but still, he was a fantastic character that they should have, not kill him off, just, maybe maim him or, he got injured really severely or something, but you don't have to kill him off. But yeah, at the same time, I think that whole sequence was really well done. The graphics, the racing car sequence, was really well done, really enjoyable. And basically leading up to the part that you were talking about, I think this was a decent, section of the film. Any of the Momoa scenes, though, I think there was definitely some comical moments to them because some of the lines he said were hilarious. I won't lie there. I thought some of the lines he said were freaking hilarious. But they were just like so out to left field though too at the same time, and just the presentation of how it was presented. Like I said, once again, I going back to this, he just like, what the fuck? Like, this is the stupidest fucking thing I've
It
ever
was
seen.
Cyber. It was like when somebody's speaking a second language they never spoke before, and they're trying to like swear at you.
Yeah,
You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to like in English or whatever. They don't speak English, and they're trying to like yell at you or call you names and shit. It's not effective.
like I said, once again, I think Momoa's a great actor. I liked him in a lot of things, and I have a feeling that maybe he was trying to do something different. I get that too as well, but it just did not fit in with a Fast and Furious villain. I'm sorry. Look at Owen Wilson's character. Look at Jason Statham's character. Both of these are fantastic villains. You also had in the original series, you had in Too Fast and Furious, you had Cole Hauser, who was a powerhouse of a villain. He was so awesome. I absolutely loved Cole Hauser as the villain in that. And then, of course, you had DK in the Tokyo Drift. He was a great villain. And his mob boss, uncle, villain. That's to me a villain. This is not a villain. This seems like just a joke of a character that they were trying to just throw in to like give a little more comedic timing to this film. And don't get me wrong, Momoa's got timing. He is good at comedy. I will give him that. But as a villain, this is the stupidest villain I've ever seen, and I can't iterate that enough. Stupidest villain
In history? The cinematic
in history.
Like Frank Jr.?
Like I said, Frank Jr. was not bad.
Okay. So Momoa was better than Frank Jr. That's good to know. But anyways, no, Andres. And again, look, folks, we all have our opinions here on the Bleeding Edge, right? That's the whole point of why we do these discussion live stream shows and these reviews, right? What fuels discussion is different opinions. Is different, is people loving something and someone hating something, right? It's being able to hang out and like talk about it, whatnot, and have thick enough skin to be able to talk shit to each other and bust balls about it, whatnot, and drop shit like Cyber and say this is the worst villain ever, or whatever. That's part of what we do here, is we give you all that, right? So, Andres, brother, your thoughts on everything sort of like leading up to, I guess, kind of when like Tess visits or goes to see Lety at the CIA black site or whatever, whatnot, and like, helps her get into the infirmary or whatever and whatnot and everything, or the treatment center where she meets Cipher, and they kind of go from there, and find out about Antarctica and whatnot and all that. And they just sort of start their whole deal, which I thought was great, right? And we'll talk about that. I like their pair up. They did some of the stuff they did do in the film was good. Some of the pairs were really effective. I thought the female characters in the film were strong. And what'd you think, Andres? That whole action scene, the sort of filler, I was going to call it filler too, Cyber. That filler part of the film where we kind of just get this slow build where they're kind of giving us some depth, which I believe it probably has something to do with the fact that there are people like me out there that haven't watched all the films. And they know that, so that they're not as good at doing it as the MCU usually is. As far as like, being able to like Endgame where you can see it and not have seen all the films and get the gist of it. Right. That they did a really good job with that in terms of like, how they delivered that. Andres, your thoughts. And then, are you starting to reevaluate Dante now that you're looking back at it, or?
No, he's still my best thing about this movie. But I don't want to talk too much about Jason Momoa, but everyone has their opinion. I understand. Just for me, Jason Momoa was the best part about this movie for me, because the thing about the filler, I actually don't. I like some of the filler. I agree with Cyber. It was important to set up the next film. I get that, but I didn't like the direction they took certain characters. So I didn't bring up. I did not like the direction they took Roman in this film. I get the gag of leadership, but I did not like the direction they took Roman in this film. So
they kind of made him into a clown a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, he's comedy relief, but they knew how to balance that. And this is where I agree with Saber. I really missed the screenwriter Chris Morgan, because he knew how to, balance Roman as a smart mouth, but like he was very good at what he's doing as a street racer slash criminal hero, anti-hero. Yeah, that like I personally, they wasted a lot of the Fast and Furious characters here.
No, Ludacris should not be out acting you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like Tess has way more. Like he's actually useful than Roman. Really, Roman is like I don't what he does.
He's got the money, baby.
Exactly. So see that scene I actually laughed at. That was funny. He had like all his cash in his body. That was funny. I was like, oh wow, that's just yeah. And oh my god, when he told the team like I want a receipt, that's like hilarious. I think that was funny. But no, I personally did I did not like what they did with Roman, Tesh, like that side of the team, because they didn't give them nothing to do. Like they did something in the film. Like they, it was important, but like when we get to the statement, like all the Fast and Furious characters we know, like didn't get much to do. Like Jordan, Mia Toretto, the sister, she's barely in this film. She's like she's only in the part where John Cena is risking her and Little B, and that's it.
She has very limited screen time in the film.
Yeah, so like that I did not like in this part. So that was the worst filler. And then the Roman, all that it was funny, but it wasn't like important.
What about the stuff that Cyber pointed out in terms of the Fast and the Furious tropes that we rely on? Right, that like if you're a fan, right? I think you rely on, right? How about the car racing, right? How did the cars look to you? I mean, how do they pull off the actual sort of starts off as it's a car race, yet it's also like also a serious like deal, right? Because you got the villain there as a part of it now, and Dom has to save people's lives and shit. Yeah. Do you feel like they did a good job? Handling just the tropes themselves that should be the strengths of the film in those scenes?
Yeah, no. I think the Brazil scene was the best. Yeah, because the thing is, like, because one thing they did right was to have the villain versus the hero, with Van, with Dom, which is good, and like we get a couple of that and throughout this movie, which is good. And I like the addition of the Danielle, the Isabelle.
Melchior. Yeah.
I agree with Cyber. She didn't have much to do in this film, but I actually like her addition. Like, I like that we tie into Fast Five. She's the aunt of Lil B. That's good. I actually like that. She had chemistry with Vin, which was good.
She did. Her chemistry with Vin was really good. I thought that she honestly, I thought that she was good with everybody that she was with in the film.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I wish she had more to do, but I think what she was given, she actually did deliver, like, in a, very good impression for me. So that's good. Yeah, so that sequence is my favorite because they did a good job. Like, it pushed Dom to choose, to save someone. And like, it felt real, and it felt like he, like Dante was threatening Dom to choose this person he know from the previous film, but also the person that he actually know personally because of the wife, his previous ex-girlfriend that is the mother of Lil B. Like the stakes were high. They're trying to make Dante to be the Thanos of this franchise. Because it's the two-parter, right? Whatever. So I think they delivered this in that sequence. But yeah, overall, it's a mixed bag to me with this filler section. Brie Larson was great here. I think the cross, you brought up the cross. I want to make
Yep.
The cross is actually they actually got married with the cross because they didn't have a wedding ring, so they used the cross to like bind them to get actual married. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we got that reveal in Fast 7. So it was a very important plot line throughout that series. So yeah, so that's why Dom gave it to Chesh to give it to Lety to confirm that he's all right, and all that. So it's a very like symbolic item for them. So that was fine, and I agree with you. I actually like Lety with Cipher. I wanted more of that. That's the thing. Like, I like that pairing, and that's a great sequence. The fight sequence is great, but is it my favorite of the Lety versus sequence? No, it's not. It cannot be the Giancarlo London fight sequence in the train. Like that's still the best. Like Lety fighting, or
Hold
cat.
on. Don't get into. Are you getting into the Lety Cipher fight?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but
Hold on. I want to individualize that because I think it's one of the best action scenes in there, and I want to get you guys on that directly. So,
yeah.
Overall though, Andres, did you feel like, very straight and short, did you feel like this part of the film lulled the film at all?
Sort of. Yeah, for me.
Cyber, did it lull the film? Did it kind of kill the energy a little bit, whatnot, and in a way to you at all?
What part?
This midsection almost, whatnot, the filler part, whatnot. Did you feel like it kind of did it kind of slow down the energy or of the story of the film? Did it slow it down and kind of?
I don't think so. I don't think it killed anything at all. I think it was more towards the end of the film I felt that kind of slowed it down a little bit, but this part I don't feel it did.
Okay. I mean, and I'm glad that you said that because maybe, again, in contrast, in terms of how they handled certain characters in the films and whatnot, and how they paired up certain characters, there were some really good moments in that part of the film. There are, right, where they're short, some of them, right? But again, Andre Cyber, with all these characters, it's not an easy job, I imagine, to have to try to find screen time for everybody, right? Like, I mean, Dom's got to have so much himself. Right, you know what I mean? In some way, he's like the main protagonist, isn't he? Essentially of the films. So, which in general, I feel like, of course, the loss of Paul Walker was to me was a huge loss to the Fast and Furious overall. Just because he was so great, right, in the first film with Vin, right? Their chemistry was great together. I feel like that the first Fast and Furious film from the ones I've seen is probably the most authentic one out of all of them. Right. For me personally. When it was very simplified and straightforward. Right. So as we jump off of there, I felt like as we carried through the film, it became very clear that Dom wasn't going to really exercise, or that they were going to take away the whole criminal element of him very much. And he very much became the pure anti-hero kind of all the way through, sort of they're really, everything. He almost is the hero of the film. Now I don't know if that kind of plays against him overall, if that's something that they've been carrying over, right? As that kind of deal. I realize he's still like a criminal and whatnot. I understand that. I'm just saying that throughout the film, he's always being the hero and saving lives and saving Rome at this part of the film, right? And then it becomes very much protecting his family because they're portraying Dante as being this badass villain that's capable of all this shit, right? And he's really ahead, step of the game and everything and whatnot. That's what they're trying to deliver with him, regardless of how Momoa portrays it. So we get to the point where, as Andres points out, we do get Brie Larson doing some really good stuff, I thought. Again, sort of, helping Lety again, get out of her, I guess, her cell or whatever, at that CIA black site. And then she gets into the infirmary, meets Cipher, right? At that point, they figure out, find out about this black site in Antarctica. This plays out later in the film. And they end up sort of almost, I guess, teaming up. Right. And I guess as a two-parter, that will probably play out. And we'll talk about the end of the film. But Tess orchestrates that. She's very clutch, right? All the time throughout the film, I thought, until she died, I guess, right? Or I don't know if she died there at the end or didn't. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think we knew or not. No. But either way, good point, Andre. She did do a great job. Again, as Cyber mentioned, Andres, you mentioned, the discovery of their bank accounts being drained and everything and whatnot ends up putting us to the point where Roman, of course, has to fund everything for his sort of team, right? I I don't know the name of the character, that young African American woman, or that has a British accent.
Ramsey is her.
Ramsey, okay. Their whole group, right? And basically, we end up with, I guess, again, Tyrese's character, right? Funding sort of their side team, whatnot, and everything. His Roman character. And of course, also, Tej is there, right? As part of the team. And then, of course, also we've got, Han Luzum there too, which I thought was a pretty good fit and everything, how they put that together. He's now going to be like sort of, funding their endeavors in the role of this sort of breakup of the team deal. Essentially, we end up in a spot where they end up reaching out to, I believe, Deckard Shaw for help, right? Is that the character's name?
Yes. Yeah.
And, he's reluctant, but I guess he agrees to help them essentially just because of Mother Queenie, and, is also a fugitive for helping Dom. Ames, tracks down and arrests Dom. And, the team ends up being ambushed by Dante's mercenaries. Ames reluctantly joins forces with Dom to fight them. The Ames character had some pretty good scenes, I thought. You didn't see a lot of him in action. His hand-to-hand combat was great. I thought a little bit we saw of him. I liked how he portrayed himself in that part of the film. The agency sort of like really becomes more heavily prevalent and like more a part of the film as we sort of head towards the the finale of the film. But the build up at that point, is essentially where we end up, leading up into basically the awesome fucking like dope ass fight between Cipher and Lety that I think is just unbelievable. So Cyber, just on that alone, and if you want to talk about sort of how the different teams, how the groups are working together throughout like the third quarter of the film, as I mentioned, what we get when we go to they go to the black arms dealer place with that whole deal where we get the fight between Tej and Roman and whatnot, right? Like where Roman's getting bitch slapped and all that stuff and whatnot, right? I thought that the shop owner was hilarious. I thought he was really funny with the muffins and everything and whatnot. That was actually good comedy, I thought. And I laughed a lot at that point. But that fight scene, man, talk about really good fight choreography. Holy shit. And again, what did you think of the authenticity of the hand-to-hand combat with the women in these films, the female actresses, compared to like possibly maybe some other films we've seen where it's not been so realistic?
You talking to me again?
Yes.
I didn't hear Cyber, so I didn't. I don't know. I didn't hear it. Anyways, that fight sequence, very well done. Like I said, Charlize Theron is really good at action sequences. She does really good fight choreography, most definitely. And Michelle Rodriguez is really good at it too. From her, past fights, the one she has with Gina Carano in the Fast and Furious 6, you could tell that she's got some really good fight skills to her. And a very unheard of film that Michelle Rodriguez was in back a couple years ago called The Assignment really showed her action skills too as well, where she basically plays a guy assassin that is forcibly put into transgenderism, basically.
What?
Yeah, he's a dude. His name is Frank. And Sigourney Weaver plays the evil bad guy in it and basically gives him a sex change and turns him into a woman. And who is played by Michelle Rodriguez. She even plays Frank in male form too, as well, and under heavy prosthetics. But she kicked ass in that film. She was like awesome in it. And she really showed her fighting skills in that film. And if you haven't seen it, definitely it's a really good movie. It's called The Assignment. Really good. But yeah, she really does a really good job at action sequences, and I think that she showed it. Both her and Charlize did a great job of bringing it to life in that sequence, in that fight sequence, and giving us just really great, a great fight just scene, and giving us a really good like girl on girl action type of deal that you don't see very often in these films. You get maybe a little bit here and there. Like I said, we had that one in Fast and Furious 6, but like previous to that, you saw a little bit here and there in other films. So it was kind of nice to give them kind of the floor and the scene, to give them that kind of like their own battle sequence there, showing women to women fighting is just as action packed as a man and man fighting. So I think that it was really fun what they did there, and gave us that really great action sequence that really was good.
Yes, and now Charlize Theron, I hate when this happens, is 47 years old. Just to be clear, if anybody out there doesn't realize that, she's 47. She looks really damn good for 47. And Michelle Rodriguez is, of course. Give you 1 second. I think this is actually kind of pertinent because they look great, and their action scene was great. Michelle Rodriguez is. What do you guys think? What's your guess? How old do you think she is?
She has to be like above or older than Charlize Theron. I think.
Nope, she's 44.
44? Wow.
You thought she was older than Charlize Theron?
I mean, you don't know. I mean,
yeah, you never know. You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's true. No, you're right. Good job, Cyber. Yeah, she was born in 1978, July 12th, 1978, and she, I believe, she's from New York, if I remember correctly. I think that she's from New York, if I remember. But I've seen her in interviews and whatnot. She does have like kind of a northern accent, or like a New York accent. But no. I think that honestly, Andres, you made some good points. So did you, Cyber. I think that the Cyber, did the agency deal work for you? How'd you think Brie Larson did throughout the film in general? Did you feel like that she did a pretty solid job with her character?
She was fine. She was okay. I didn't think she was anything great. I didn't think she was horrible. But I definitely feel that it was because it was such a small role. She did a okay job with that small role.
Andres, same question I asked Cyber. That fight scene, how well they choreographed it, how they shot it. Not very long. Maybe, I don't know what, 3 minutes maybe or something like that. 3.5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
But really well done. And what did you think of the authenticity of the hand-to-hand combat with the female characters? Because we get that scene in here where we get Bree's character coming in to that I think it was a bar or like a speakeasy almost or whatever, whatnot, like a hangout for thugs or whatever. And when she first walked in, I honestly didn't think for a minute she was gonna like knock out every dude in there or whatever, right? But she didn't, right? She did some hand-to-hand, grabbed a shotgun, right? And then sits down and says she just wants to sit down and have a drink with Dom. I thought that was really well done. Instead of having her beat every fucking dude up in there, like just beat the shit out of all of them. What did you think of how the female characters were in the film in terms of overall, but I guess really with like the hand-to-hand combat, the fight scenes? What did you think of the fight scene with Charlize, the Michelle Rodriguez?
Sure.
And then what did you think of the, I guess the scenes, in the scene where they go and they visit the black market guns dealer, and we get the comedy and we get the fight between, who I'm talking about with Roman and Ludacris's character. They arm up, right? And start to like, I guess, get ready for like the final battle almost to the film or whatever, right?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
This part is good. I think Brie with that bar thing was just. I think Dom knew she was coming in, so that was like a test if she could handle that. So that's great. Okay, is he dancing with the music? Oh my god, that's funny. Anyway, I thought that scene was good with Brie. Like, it didn't have to be too long, so that's good. The Charlize and versus Michelle Rodriguez fight scene is really good. It's actually really great. This series actually does a really good job of handling their female characters well, and the fight sequence between Michelle and Thorian is actually really great. Now, it's not the best. Like, I actually like the Fast Six one with Letty versus the Gina Carano, but this was better than the one in Fast Seven with her and Rudy something something. So this was top notch. This was really great, but it cannot be for me Fast Six with the Gina Carano versus the Letty uh, London subway sequence. But then after that, uh, I guess the Pete Davidson cameo, that was great. I did not expect Pete Davidson to be in this movie. That was really cool. I love Han getting high and him not saying it was very funny.
Yeah.
So that was really great. Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that sequence. It was really funny. So I think that was pretty cool. And then that's really it. I guess. This was good. It was better than the latter half, but this was fun. So I thought this was pretty good. Nothing major, which is good. Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Yeah, that's what's her name. She was in Fast Seven, and it was a good fight sequence, but it wasn't like spectacular like this or Fast Six.
How was Rhonda, guys, in Fast Seven? How was she? I've never seen her act before. Is she any good? No, Cyber?
No, it was really
Nah,
bad.
not so good.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Until she got her fucking ass knocked out by what's her name, Holly Hunter, or whatever her name is, whatnot, and everything. And that I watched that fight. I did. I like women's MMA. I always have. She was killing it, man. She was crushing the woman that she was fighting until she got knocked out in that. And she just did not get trained well, or her trainer did not get her set up for that fight right. That's why she got beat like that. She tried to like basically box with that chick and whatnot, and that's why she got knocked out. That's not her strength. But she's a badass though. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and play this trailer. It's not. I don't think it may be a fan trailer, but it has the fight scene. It has the fight scene between the two ladies. Or would you guys prefer that I play the actual Fast and Furious trailer? That is the official Fast and Furious trailer. I can get that one too. I'll let you guys choose. Which one do you want, Cyber? You want that one, Andres, or do you want the one that has the fight?
I like the real shit.
Okay.
Andres,
Cyber prefers it raw, baby. You know what I'm saying?
It's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah. In many aspects. But that's what I hear on massage parlor chat.com or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a new site. I've been checking it out. I can get my stupid mouse to work, man. I'm telling you. The heck, somebody I can't talk about is heavy tonight.
FYI, people, he just really likes massage parlors.
I think we should start our own MCU'S Bleeding Edge massage parlor. I'm telling you.
That'd be a good business.
We could have porno drive-in, like Renee always talked about, whatnot, everything. And then at the same time, we could add that with the massage parlor element. The Bleeding Edge massage parlor line. I can see it now, Andres.
Oh, God.
Maybe, Cyber, did you see that screenshot I sent you of that Indian guy trying to give me investors firm for $80?
You know how many people get those stupid messages? 1,000,000,001.
I talked to him, though. Like, we actually talked on the phone for like 35 minutes and shit. He knows me and you from Rizzle. I just thought it was funny, though. It's an inside joke, Andres. I'll explain it to you later on. It's funny. Okay, here we go. Official at Fast X Trailer 2. Echo cancellation. Go away, bitch. That's right. Peace out with that. And there you go. I didn't look right.
Yeah, it's definitely angle. Like,
No, honestly, what do you call it? That scene in that fight scene when Letty does that jump kick, right?
mhm.
To Cipher, that's our thumbnail. I thought that was the coolest fucking part of the film when she was like in the air. It looked real, like she didn't elevate 15 feet in the air or some shit during it or whatever. It felt
Yeah,
genuine, like it was like it was how a woman would be able to pull off a jump kick, right? At
yeah.
like a high level, right? It wasn't like fucking like mutant ability shit or whatever,
Oh,
you know.
or my favorite part is when she carried Letty and like throw her at that elevator door. That was like brutal. So
There's a lot that goes on in that fight scene.
yeah,
There's a lot that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost Daredevil-esque. There's like a lot of fucking shit that happens in that fight. It's
yeah.
not just like your typical standard like fight scene. There's a lot of back and forth. Them beat each other up. You know.
Just
I thought
another
it's
thing. Just another thing about Momoa's character.
What?
He said in interviews that he wanted to play something different than his other characters he's played. So that's why his character is androgynous in this film.
androgynous, huh?
That's what he calls it,
So,
androgynous.
so basically, he played the villain the way he played it to support the LGBT plus community or some shit.
He didn't say that, but that he said he wanted his character to be less macho.
Well,
Yeah. I
okay,
mean,
whatever.
I don't know what he means, but I don't know.
Less macho. We folks out there, we
Max,
need more fucking masculinity from our men these days. We don't need less of it. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like
yeah, yeah. I think he was saying less masculinity. That's what I think he was saying.
Yeah, but I just don't like that. I don't like that at all. I think that if anything, there's a dearth of masculinity right now. And that's a problem, like overall. And I'm just talking about films. I'm not trying to get all deep, but that's widespread
Well, it
across the
says on
board. But
Wikipedia, less macho.
yeah, see,
I know that.
that's a problem because I mean, if you're gonna be a good villain, you need to be macho if you're a man, right? Like last time I checked, I haven't noticed any gay bottom dudes killing it as the main villain of films. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
uh, nothing against you gay bottom dudes, whatever, whatnot, right? I'm sure you're good at what you do. But have your thing, do your thing,
A good,
Cyber.
a good, a good villain that is androgynous, I would say. Last time I saw a good character like that was Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Okay,
Now, and see, if you look at how that character was portrayed in the film, he still was a very macho, masculine man,
he
but
was.
he still had that what we call psychopathic tendencies. That was, he has mental issues that causes him to be androgynous. Which I think that's what Momoa was trying to say he was doing. But at the same time, though, it just came off as like gay boy funny.
Well, honestly, Andres, I've met a transgender woman like that. Actually, I have, but Cyber that's described whatnot and everything.
hmm
Um, I've met one in person in real life, and it's just like in the movie, right? Like crazy as hell, all over the place. You know what I'm saying and whatnot, right? Like they're not really feminine at all. You know what I mean? Like kind of just very masculine, right? And then they're just kind of mentally ill and like for whatever reason they dress up as women and whatnot type deal, whatever, whatnot. I've come across one of those actually. Nothing against the person, whatnot, and everything, but they were just out there. But and you run into some people in your life here and there. But either way, I think that Andres overall, did you think that the trailers? We didn't play the first one, but that the trailers were pretty effective. I thought the first one was great.
yeah,
Did you think they were pretty good?
yeah. They were pretty good. I mean, for this franchise, it show me the action and show me everything
Did they
that
did
they're
did they oversell the film at all? Do you think?
not overshow. Like I think show too many footage, and even the footage we didn't get in the film. Like that's the norm of these trailers. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it's because I was so disappointed with the last film. I just like okay, this new one. I was gonna see it anyway, but I thought the trailers did okay. So they were not my favorite.
I only want to ask because I think I like to ask when I moderate and whatnot on these. I always like to ask what people if they feel like the trailers. Ever since I've started seeing trailers kind of overselling these films of the MCU, I find it interesting to ask. So Cyber, what did you think? Did you feel like some of those trailers kind of really oversold maybe some of the action scenes, or really oversold Momoa's villain in the film, his Dante villain, kind of portrayed him as really more deep than he actually was, or villainous?
Definitely they chose his better scenes for what they put into the trailers, most definitely. Not the more comical sequences. I mean, except for the one there was like, we're gonna blow up the Vatican. Like I said, that was a fantastic line. I think that was absolutely a great sequence. I liked him there. Like I said, there was moments I did like him, but majority of the time I just thought it was stupid. But yeah, I definitely think they overplayed his villain type in the trailers, most definitely, and make him look more of like a better villain than he is, and which that's just marketing. That's what they do. So I'm not shocked by that at all.
No, and as we launch into I'd say probably the last 25% of the film, and we get sort of like our, not the final battle, but our ending sequence where we get kind of our final confrontation with Dante, Dom, right? Where Dom has to basically really save the family, save his son, and everything. And we get to that point in the film. I thought that, and I'll ask you gentlemen about it. I felt like, they, of course, that's when they bring in Statham's character into the film, right? Sort of in that last, I'd say probably 25-30% of the film, whatnot. He doesn't get that much dirty scenes, but he's very effective, right? And I liked the fact that it was sort of his dynamic of him and the actor, the Asian actor, and his character,
Han
Lu, Han, yeah. I liked them together. I liked how their banter, how they kind of back and forth, how they had whatnot. I thought that Han was good in the film. I really did. I liked him. I enjoyed him. I thought he was pretty authentic. Good. He seems like a good actor. I haven't seen him in anything else. But no. We get they sort of go into recruitment mode, right? We get some really good scenes with Cena, and and his character and Little B. There's some really good humor, like Cena always gives and drops in all his films. I think that's kind of one of the things about him that's really interesting about him, is how good comedic timing he has. Cyber. His comedic timing is awesome. I mean, he elevated that child actor in a lot of those scenes. I thought, just because his presence on screen, I thought he made it that work better on his end. If anything, when he was talking about how the car they were in or whatever and whatnot used to be how so dope back in the day or whatever and whatnot, and the chicks dug it and all that shit and everything. And then that song came on and whatnot and all that. I forget what song it was from the 90s. That was funny. I like that. That was funny. He brought some good humor to the film, along with many others. But as we get into that, sort of, again, that portion of the film, sort of that final third, going into your final sequences, where we get sort of what I would not expect at all, where they kind of just halt things essentially at the end, going into part two. They kind of leave us guessing, right, in terms of how things are going to play out. They kind of cliffhanger us. And, as we're in this part of the film, Dante manages to kidnap Little B and, essentially orders his team of mercenaries and thugs and whatnot and everything to stop Dom and stop Jacob. And essentially, as I mentioned earlier, we end up in a situation where, before we get to that point, we do lose, unfortunately. For a minute, we think possibly Brie Larson's character in the film, and we get a really emotional scene where basically Tess, I believe, I think she gets shot. I don't think she gets stabbed, but she's shot to the side.
Yeah, she was shot in the side.
Yeah,
She
she
was,
shot in the side. No, go ahead, Andres.
yeah, she was shot. She was just injured. So this is where Isabelle will take her in the hospital. So
Okay, yes.
yeah,
No, she didn't. No, she doesn't die.
yeah,
But for a minute, they give you the impression that she may,
yeah,
a la, Cipher, right at the beginning of the film. They give you that sort of sense of that. We do get that really emotional scene where I do feel like Vin Diesel really does a great job working with the Ratcatcher actress Daniela Melchior, where he cries, right? As Cyber mentioned, saying about how it should have been her that died, right? And when he supports her, she then supports him, right? And whatnot. And I felt like she really, without her, I can't. Maybe other than maybe Theron, I can't think of any other actress in the film that would have been able to actually make that work with Vin Diesel crying like that effectively. I thought it was very effective, and he looked great crying. He looked authentic, and his emotional acting was well done. Right, and I think that had to do a lot with that actress, the Melchior actress as Isabelle. Um, we get into a part of the film here where again, the agency at that point, becomes a heavily part of the film. They become really a big, major protagonist. Before we really know, you know, we haven't gotten to the point yet. Whereas I let out earlier as a teaser that Ames has been working with Dante this whole time, and sort of I guess maybe had worked for the father as well, and met Dante through that way or whatever. So we kind of get into a situation where basically the team coalesced after they've put together their full team, whatnot, and everything, and done what they need to do in terms of preparation to be able to facilitate, the ending of the film. Where again, little B has to be saved, and basically, you know, um, Tess gets wounded by the by the sniper of Dante's essentially. We get sort of like not a final battle, but like an attack, you could say, where due to I believe the gear he stole from Cipher, Dante's able to sort of like track Dom and the team, and he sort of puts the gauntlet down, I believe, at that point, and actually does try to take them out. And that's when Ames flips and plays his hand that the agency's aligned with him. And we end up in a situation where basically, we get the ambush. Tess arrives to assist. She gets shot. Dante reveals that he's kidnapped Isabelle. We get the emotional scene where, sort of like Bree's character passes on the cross, all bloody, to I guess, to Dom. And I thought that was really well done when Tess did that and everything and whatnot. I thought that was really touching, and that Bree actually expressed some good emotion, and like actually did show some ability to not be one thing. But essentially, as Andres mentioned, she does end up getting treatment, whatnot, and everything and whatnot, and she doesn't die, but basically at that point, Dante steals the God's Eye, locates Little B, in Portugal, and Dom manages to save Isabelle as Dante escapes. Isabelle promises Dom to get Tess to a hospital, which they do. While Ames, agrees to help Dom take Dante down, while we already know that he's full of shit. Dom and the team are informed what's going down. They travel to Portugal, and we do get sort of our almost final, I guess you could say, big action scene / cliffhanger ending, leading into, I guess, what will be the part 2, where we get a really cool scene where we get Little B, and we get a really quick scene with little actual action with Cena's character on the plane, where they do some really slick shit and everything. It's really funny, really kind of like covert. and they have to actually like jettison from the plane to get off because they're being chased by the agency. Thought that was really well done. How the waitress tipped him off and everything and whatnot was well done. I liked it, enjoyed it. Really from there, we kind of get into a situation where, we end up having, again, Jacob sort of sacrificing himself in like an explosive crash in a sort of like situation where they're rescuing little B, Dom is, then he gets little B. We get, sort of like a father-son heavy sort of situation where, after with Cena's character, little B's able to actually aid in like the battle, in the fight, like in the car scene, sort of action that they end up in and whatnot. Dom's able to rescue his son due to, the sacrifice, like in the explosive crash. All the mercenaries are taken out. And as they arrive to the dam, I believe that the dam has a bomb planted on it or something of that nature. Isn't that how Dante does it? He has a bomb planted on it?
Yeah,
right?
It's pre set up. There's bombs.
Yeah, and so again, Dom's put into the anti-hero role, where at the same time he has to defend his son and he has to protect his family. And we do actually end up seeing, the plane with the crew that has Roman and that has that their whole team there with Han get shot down at one point by Ames with like a shoulder mounted rocket launcher and take down the plane, and we don't know what happens there, right? They one of the engines gets taken out, when the wings is taken out, they go, they hit the ground in like a ball of flame, and they leave us in a cliffhanger with that. We don't know if they lived or survived. I'm sure they lived. I'd have to believe that they all survived that. But at the dam, again, Ames reveals that he's sort of double agenting and shit, working with Dante. He shoots down the plane. Dom basically ends up driving off the edge of sort of like the bridge, I guess, like down the slope of the dam, and we get that awesome scene from the trailer where like, we get the flames, whatnot, and everything, and he's basically escaping the explosion, right, when the bomb does explode. Now, we also get a great scene in that where we also see him saving or catching little B in his car. Like, him jumping over whatnot or whatever and getting into the car. I thought that was really well done. But overall, where we end up at is where, upon the plane being, hitting the ground, blowing up and whatnot, Dante revealing that the dam is rigged with explosive, him shooting him off, Dom, sort of outrunning it and whatnot, keeping his son alive. It's left off right there. We don't really know what the hell else happens from there. Like, they kind of cut us off right there, but they black out, and we switch over to Antarctica. Very a la like Captain America, the First Avenger, in a way. Or like, right? Or like whatever end credit scene it was or whatever in one of the Iron Man films or whatever, we actually see S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to find him in the ice. We see Lety and Cipher in Antarctica, right? And there's a submarine that pops up out of the ocean, out of the ice, and in it, of course, is Gal Gadot, who again, Andres plays which character?
Giselle, that's her name.
Giselle. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with all these names. So, Andres, first you that do Cyber. That all your basically take as much time as you want because we'll wrap it up from this. Then we'll do our plugs and get out of here. But that full, probably I'd say third of the film or less, right? Andres, your thoughts on all of it? Just whatever you want to point out, whichever points you want, whichever scenes you want to address, you choose. Have at it. And then how do you think that they delivered in terms of the ending there? Setting up for the second film, I guess, or the next, the film that's going to be a two-parter. Did you feel like they pulled that off well? I thought that it threw me off a little bit.
I guess get to the ending. I thought it was okay. It was, for me, it was weird you cut off that way. I mean, if you want to click, like, I feel like my issue with this movie overall, it doesn't feel like a complete film.
No.
And I get it's a two-parter, but you need your like first part to feel completed. Like Infinity War, despite it had like a a cliffhanger, with the blip and all that, it felt like a singular film before we get into Endgame. So like this film didn't have that, and I felt like the ending was just weird to end it that way and all that. So I thought it was okay, but I feel like they could have done maybe more to set that up, better. But yeah, it was okay. I want to bring up John Cena because that was something important. I did not like him as the villain from the last movie. I thought he was so much better in this film. He was really great. I felt like, after Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, they really used him well here. I mean, he was so funny. I want to bring up the airplane scene because Paul Walker's daughter cameo there. That was really great, and I actually love that. So, yeah, I thought John Cena was amazing. I love that cameo from Paul Walker's daughter. Yeah, like everything about that like sequence of John Cena with the son was really awesome. And I did not like he died because I thought they got him better as a character in this film series. But I get it. To prompt up our heroes to defeat Dante and all that. So I get it. So yeah, John Cena, great. Another aspect that I like about this film, besides Jason, John Cena was great as well, and he was amazing. The Jason statement, I was like, again, just like Mia and the other crew, Jason wasn't in the film. Like he was just in that one sequence. Like what the heck? And yeah, I was happy they paid off the post credit scene from the last film, but like it was so a waste of Jason's statement. But I did appreciate the punching bag gag with the person in it. That was funny, because that was a carryover to the post credit scene. That was funny. But I wish we had more Staten in the film.
Deckard Shaw. Yep.
Yeah, Deckard Shaw, and all that. So yeah, that was really disappointing. Like just I don't know why. Like I don't think you really needed him to be here. Like I don't know. It's just too many characters. There's too many characters. You got new characters, and then you got our recurring characters. It's like I think one of them didn't need to be in this picture. So yeah, so that, and then what else? Dom here, like I yeah, like yeah. Or
Were you disappointed? Were you disappointed with how things played out in the final part of the film?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, not a bad way. It just was like I think it should have been more.
Well, disappointment typically indicates bad.
Yeah, well, not bad. I think it's because like the last few, everything got crazy, gone big, and you got this, is I like they didn't go too big, but then it's like I don't know, it's something. But yeah, it's like because it's like the first part, like maybe they shouldn't wrap certain things up. That's my problem with the film. It's like you got so many characters and they didn't pay off a lot of their storylines. So I'll probably feel differently when we get to part 2 and in the next 2 years, because the next part is coming out in 2025. So but for now, for me, it's kind of like overwhelming, but it doesn't mean I hate it. I actually still like this film. I still think it's better than the last film. Just I felt like the third act just was weird to end it the way it is. But yeah.
Well, and I'll bring this up in just a second, but basically, Cyber, same question to you. Your thoughts on that I guess final third of the film. Were you disappointed? I thought the ending was bad. I did. I thought that the way that they ended it surprised me. Like I was shocked, but it wasn't like shocked, like impressed. right? If that makes sense, I wasn't like, oh, shocked, like, oh shit, this is exciting. I was shocked that that's how they ended it the way they did. Cyber, if we basically, I mean, you tell me, well, overall, what are your general thoughts on that part of the film? Do you feel like they set up this two-parter well?
So yeah, it ended very weird. I thought they didn't end it very well for like a 2-part sequel. I think that there's been definitely movies where they had 2 parts, had better endings or better divides, and where they edit the film to go on to the next one. Was definitely both me and the wife thought we're like, that was weird how they ended it, but at the same time she reminded me that it was a 2-parter because I actually forgot it was a 2-parter. Even though they're going to be doing 2 more films, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But at the same time, I'm like, they still could have ended it a little better. Very much a cliffhanger. At least they should have had some sort of solution a little bit with the cliffhanger kind of mixing with each other. I thought would have made it better how it ended. But yeah, most definitely, I agree that it was a very weird ending. But the last portion of the film, I loved it. I thought there was a lot of action, lots of fun there. Definitely there's some great Momoa moments there where he has some great one-liners. Otherwise than that of course I thought he was just garbage. But I thought the action sequence was great. I thought that the whole sequence where Dom is having to fight those helicopters, that sequence was really fantastic. And I thought that all of it was just really well done action there. That was just over the top and very entertaining. The cliffhanger kind of where they leave off, like what happened to the crew when their plane supposedly exploded over there, and stuff like that, was like very annoying. I found it very discerning when it came to kind of like finishing off the plot lines of certain characters, or even given some sort of simile to what is going to happen to them, not just leaving it like that, kind of like at a cliffhanger like they did. But still, I thought that the last portion of the film was really fun. The cameo of Giselle is fantastic. I've been wanting them to kind of complete that story arc since, she supposedly died in 6. And hopefully maybe that'll help Han get over this, this horribleness that he's had for losing Giselle since 6. Maybe he'll get more, back to the Han we know from Tokyo Drift. And, I was saying this, like, I don't know, months ago, saying that, watch, they're going to bring Giselle back from the dead because they're going to want to bring her back to kind of, bring in another character that has supposedly died and resurrect her. And once I saw that there was a cameo of her, I'm like, holy crap, I was correct. I thought that was kind of fun. And then, of course, the, post-credit scene where it shows Hobbs. That who didn't know that was coming? I knew it was coming. Even after the whole stupid feud thing that was supposedly going on between him and Vin Diesel and him, it was all publicity. It was all done just so that they could do this. And at the same time, though, I think The Rock kind of got a little big of a head there for a while, especially with Black Adam coming out, with Hobbs and Shaw doing very well. I think that he did probably got a little bit of a big head and was being kind of like juvenile with certain situations, and kind of I think it kind of played into, let's use that to kind of like get people excited to see Hobbs again. So I definitely feel that was all a play. Because him popping back, I was like, I knew he was going to come back. There's no way they're going to finish off this series without having Hobbs return.
The fuck?
And what?
Sorry about that. That was Andres haunting you in the background.
Oh, okay.
No.
And but yeah, not the greatest ending. I understand that it's a 2-parter. Great action sequences throughout the whole end of this film. Thought it was really fun. There was a lot of great entertaining points to this film. I really enjoyed it. Do I think it's better than 9? Definitely not. I don't think it's better than any of the other films in the series. I definitely feel that this is definitely going to be lower on my totem pole. And it definitely had good moments. It had crappy moments. Like I said, I definitely feel that this has the worst villain of all the villains I've seen. And I definitely think that it had a lot more potential to it, and especially being at number 10, I feel they really should have focused on getting the story completely 100% good, and before they released it. And I could have even waited another year to get that story correct. Because with the hiatus between Hobbs and Shaw, and then between F9, between 8 and 9, actually, if you think about it, it was like, what,
5
6
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 years between. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you had that time, and I could see why I felt the writing of F9 was better than the writing of F10. So, I definitely think that there's a lot of good to this, a lot of crap, but at the same time, I think overall it's a decent film.
Rankings, ratings. What's up, Cyber? What do you got? Drop a number on me, baby.
I give this one a 7. I give it a 7 because of the supporting cast being fantastic with great one-liners. The Pete Davidson scene was absolutely hilarious. John Cena was perfection in this film. I absolutely loved John Cena in this. I loved what he did with his character. It was on point and awesome. I'm hoping that he is not dead, and if he is, resurrect him. They do everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think that he was fantastic in this film, and he really made it good for me. I give it a 7, and the reason also I give it a 7 is because of just I think that this really has the worst villain of all the Fast and Furious films, and because of how just weird Momoa made the character, I can't give it anything higher than a 7 because of just I thought that performance was not to Jason Momoa's standards. I thought he could have done so much better. I know he was taking a chance playing that character in that way. That's fine. I get it. But it did not pay off, I felt. It just did not pay off. So I give it a 7.
Andres, your rating, sir.
Okay. Ooh, this is a tough one. For me, just seeing it last Friday.
Don't feel bad or whatnot. Just fucking drop a number.
Don't pressure me. Let me think. I'll put it at a 6 out of 10. I mean, so I like this more than the last film because I just thought this was more entertaining. It's a little more grounded than the last film. For a Fast and Furious movie, like it had characters I liked more, but same time, as a two-parter, I felt like it didn't deliver on being a complete film. As we discussed, as I've been bringing up in this game review. So this is why it's 6 out of 10. But the reason it's not too low, I think, is 3 reasons. It's Jason Momoa. I think he was a great addition to this franchise. I think his humor, like his comedy bit and everything as the villain, was the best for me overall in the film. John Cena was much better this time around. I thought his part as Jacob was great. I was really sad that he got killed, but as Saber say, I mean, I don't know if he's really dead. So I think he will come back as a robot or something like that.
They're all gonna fucking come back. What are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be the Avengers of Endgame for Fast and the Furious. So, but yeah, and I just want to bring up like my ranking of films. Like this is my number 6 of favorite Fast and Furious. It cannot be Fate of the Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, or Fast 6, or Fast 7, or Fast 5. But I thought it was better than the other low tier of my ranking, especially F9. So
Okay.
I highly recommend watching this.
All right. Well, look, there's the box office numbers for you right there. I said I would show them and whatnot. I wanted to just bring them up real quick and whatnot and everything and put it out there at least once. So there you go. You see how the film did right there. If you can see where Fast X ended up, in terms of opening weekends, right? Domestic box office, in general, and its placement. So essentially, I had no idea that the original Fast and Furious actually also did 71 million, basically.
They had the fourth one.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
Okay, The Fast and the Furious did 40 million. Okay. June 22nd, 2001. And to you, Cyber, you're right. Obviously, that in terms of the May, then June, August, April, May, April, June. Definitely a consistent, thing with the summer movie deal, right? In terms of where they put them out, the films out, and whatnot. It's been very summer centric. But folks, I'm going to go ahead and give this film a 5.75. I've been to better massage parlors in the last 2 weeks than that I would give a better rating to this movie. If you're going to have a movie where you have the whole premise of the movie has to be built off of a main villain, then don't have the main villain suck overall. It's not going to really do you a lot of good overall for the film. There has to be some duality between Dom and the villain in a film like this, and it diminished. I thought it diminished Dom and Vin Diesel's portrayal of Dom not having a villain that really kind of like I felt like connected with him, if that made sense. And those are my final thoughts. Now to the plugging. Woohoo! Cyberneticshark, my friend. How are we doing these days? I've not checked out your YouTube channel recently. Are we inching our way up to the 1,000 mark?
We're at 661.
Okay.
And slowly approaching 700 mark. So yeah. So let's get us to 700 people there. 39 away. So let's keep going. Let's keep adding those people and subscribing. I haven't put up anything in the last week because I was busy down in Florida last week. Going to Rockville. So, yeah, you'll be seeing my Fast X review up here at the end of the week. Probably another review or so soon. Maybe some trailer reactions. They just release the trailer for the remake of The Color Purple. So I'll probably be doing a trailer reaction to that. And as you can see, I recently just did the Rocky movies shorts there for you guys. So all 6 of the films. So check that out. And yeah, like I said, always thanks everyone that has keeps subscribing and watching my stuff. I thank you very much. And yeah, let's get me to that 700 mark, and then on to that, to the 8, 9, and then 1,000 people. Let's get to that 1,000. I like to get to that 1,000 by the end of the year. So we got almost 6 more months to go. So yeah, let's get there.
That's right, Cyber. And you know what? Now that we're doing film reviews on Fridays, like we are this Friday, folks, right? At 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we are doing Starship Troopers. Cyberneticshark will be moderating. And as of right now, I don't have a full, complete picture on the panel because I've got some 50-50s, some question marks on people. But of course, there's always an open seat for Andres on the panel for that review, as he, I would hope, knows. And Starship Troopers is a hell of a film. So hopefully, maybe down the road, Cyber, we can kind of incorporate, some of like the stuff that you're doing on your YouTube channel, and throw that into the movies that we review. Since you're doing such a great job, what you're picking and what you're like reacting to and you're like reviewing on your own. I mean, the Rocky films are great. I'd love to review Rocky 2 or Rocky 3.
Oh,
the Rockies, yeah.
I'd love to the one with Dolph Lundgren, Rocky 3 is Rocky 3, right?
Oh no,
4.
Rocky 4.
4. Okay, no, 3 was the one where he fights with
Mr.
Tommy.
T.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. T. Oh shit. Okay, that's right. Look at me, folks. I'm all screwed up on my Rocky movies. Andre, straighten me out over here, brother. Let me pull up your shit.
Sure.
Andres has 17 different podcasts and YouTube channels. Here's one of them.
Not 17. No. He has 25.
Yeah, very funny.
35.75.
47.263.
All right.
Andres, DC and Marvel Plus Talk.
Yeah, so this is my second
Hello,
channel.
everyone. My name is Andres Diaz.
Post that
Me
podcast.
and Will are back.
Oh, you look at you. You're fucking up your own plugs over here, man.
Plus Talk
That's
podcast.
wait,
This
pause
week,
it.
X-Men
I am.
First
Hold on.
Class
My
for
mouse
the
is fucking being
2011
weird.
Film, the 5th in
Hold
the
on. Oh dear, I'm
and
sorry,
post
folks.
like my people.
Don't listen
It's
to
the, it's
me.
the
This
it's
is
the it's the curse of she. I can
starting
of the
to
I cannot be named her. I can't name her.
okay. Okay. So second
Andres,
channel.
why how are you gonna send me links to your shit to plug and you got videos and just start talking?
Well, that's how they do it. That's I show my highest reviewed video, and then you can check it out.
Hey, great job, brother.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, this is my second channel, DC Marvel Plus Talk. Folks, I'm back. I was in vacation in London. It was fun. That's how I saw Fast 10 on Friday in London. It was really wonderful. So I back again. I just posted recently a Flash 2 trailer discussion just today. Check it out. And can you please put my first channel, Jeff? So right now I'm gonna probably put the latest part of the Superman Funeral of Fran arc that I've been posting in my DC Marvel Plus Talk to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the death of Superman comic book.
Hold on.
Yeah. So
Mouse issues.
yes. Oh my God, Loki's controlling your mouse. That's why.
Okay, now what do you want me to show?
Okay, go down. So so my first channel, Andreas Pop Culture Guy Channel Presents, it's up to 759 subscribers. That's good.
Woo-hoo!
So I'm almost there, maybe to the 800 subscribers. I don't know when. So that's really cool. Recently,
Boo.
you're jealous. You're jealous, Cyber. You're jealous. Jealous. Anyway, no worry. I know John Wick.
Nah.
I know John Wick, so I know the Baba Yaga. Anyway,
I know Neo.
oh,
Well, I know
really?
I know Boba Fett.
Oh my God, yeah. So I just recently put the John Wick Chapter 4 broadcast today. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna do a celebrity birthday tribute or maybe a top 10 list. So yeah, I'm back again to do more content after my vacation is done. So yeah, I'm back, baby. So
Andres, does it feel good to be in the panel on the Bleeding Edge, baby?
yeah, I mean, I was so happy when you said you're gonna do Fast 10. I was like, yes, we're gonna do Fast 10.
Well, you're a great guest, my friend. And you know what? I've even got plugs this week, folks. Here you go. Right here. My plugs this week are, of course, my review coming out soon of my experience at Golden Massage. Right? It was very interesting. I definitely give it a 8.75.
He was never there, folks. He was never there.
Let's just say that interesting things happened on that massage parlor bed thing or whatever the fuck that thing is, couch deal, whatever. There was some interesting adult Bleeding Edge type stuff happening, and my reaction will be coming out soon. It'll be a part of our Patreon and whatnot and everything. When we come up with that and whatnot, you'll be able to see it, and our OnlyFans as well. We'll be able to split it up like that. So there you go, Cyber. I've got plugs this week, my friend. I'm glad it made you laugh and you enjoyed it. And I just wanted to say that I had a great time spending time with Cyberneticshark in real life. His actual name is Ron, folks, just to be honest with you. Unfortunately, we actually share a middle name and a first name. And it's a bit, that's how connected me and Cyber are. And
my name is John Wick.
There you go. And basically, I'll be putting out footage from and some pics and whatnot and everything, for basically on our website, on the YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting fan cam up and whatnot. So if Cyber wants to, he can. I'm sure he's probably going to put some up, probably on his YouTube channel too. We got some good stuff. We got some good Evanescence stuff. You didn't get anything good, Cyber? No good fan cam?
Yeah, I got fan cam, but I put it up on Facebook.
All right. We saw some really good content. We saw some really good bands. We did. We had a great time. We're moving up in the world, right? We have business cards for the first time ever, believe it or not. I already gave out my first one at Gold Massage. When I invited the massage person to come on the panel. Anyways, for Cyberneticshark,
He's lying.
For Jasmine, who you'll see with me on Sunday for part 1 of my first ever moderating of a 3-part breakdown and recap of The Mandalorian Season 3, which I'm really excited for. I'm nervous for. I put a lot of work into it, whatnot. I busted my balls today doing research for it. I rewatched the whole season on my own, which Cyber will tell you is not like your normal true knowledge type shit. So hopefully you folks will enjoy it. I've got some really good creators lined up and whatnot for the panel. And Jasmine will be back on, our buddy from Rizzle. That'll be awesome. So for everybody from the Bleeding Edge, for all our supporters, please ring that bell. Don't be notified when we go live. Subscribe to Cyberneticshark's YouTube channel. Subscribe to Andre's channel less, so Cyber can catch up to him and get past him. Then they can talk shit.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
No, join my cult.
I've already placed bets on this whole thing already. I have.
He's telling you to join a cult. That's not good, people. That's not good.
Yes.
I have placed bets on this whole thing already. I put money out there. Just to be clear, I'm not much of a gambler, but I have put bets out there for this. And please help Andre subscribe to his 27.75 different podcast YouTube channels and follow them.
Two channels. That's it.
Push Cyber over 1,000 subscribers before we hit 25,000 on the Bleeding Edge. Right? Seriously. It's not fair. The man fucking kills it over here moderating like a fucking beast and shit. Even on shit show specials. When his mutant ability as Iceman comes out. Which, I wish I had some B-roll of that, brother. That was some great shit, Cyber. But either way, for all of us, we love all of you. God bless all of you. God bless Andres and your family. God bless you, Cyber. God bless Cyber's wife for the gay boy thing. That was very funny. Love that. Highlighting the show without question. And
yes. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Cyber.
Hey, Secret Invasion's coming soon, folks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Spider-Verse. Don't forget, Spider-Verse is first.
There you go. We'll see you later, folks. Peace.
Hey. I said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you dumb or what?